Around 11.93 million Chinese students signed up in 2022 to take Gaokao, the national college entrance examination open to all high schoolers. Across the oceans, similar phenomena were happening as well. In the class of 2022, 1.7 million United States students took the SAT at least once, with another 1.3 million taking the ACT, two of the most famous college entrance exams in the nation. Among those students, millions put every effort into getting those exam questions right, trying to aim for their top-tier colleges and universities. However, the education systems in which they root are, despite notable similarities, vastly different. My name is Tina Zane, and as a person who fortunately got to experience both the American and Chinese education systems for a decent amount of time, I was always curious about how the two can be so different yet still alike. What was their evolution, and what educational aspects do they cherish most? Today, on Across the Horizon, we will discover the history behind the two education systems, their characteristics, and their parallels and disparities. All the references used are listed in the description below. Not so surprisingly, the US is not the only country that conducts college entrance exams. Commonly known as the Gaokao, the National College Entrance Examination is held annually in mainland China as a standardized college entrance exam. The exam covers all subjects that students learn throughout their high school years. It lasts about 2 to 3 days, a total of 9 hours, including basic subjects like English, math, Chinese, and etc. The students can then choose to take further tests in the liberal arts or natural sciences, which are combinations of related subjects such as politics, geography and history, or physics, chemistry, and biology. The Gaokao system was created in 1952 in the hope of standardizing the process of college applications. However, its earlier model, the imperial examination, was invented back in the Sui dynasty. The imperial examination, also known as Keju, was first made to identify qualified higher officials for the government. In ancient imperial China, students would be tested on their knowledge of literature, their ability to compose texts, and other suitable and essential skills for becoming government officials. And out of those people, a few talented individuals will be selected to begin their governmental lives. Generally speaking, the imperial examination provided unprecedented equality and standardized testing in different provinces of imperial China. The exam gave all citizens an equal chance of being selected to represent their hometown and contribute to the country. William T. Rowe, a professor of Chinese history at Johns Hopkins University, stated that the exam, quote, is a reasonably successful vehicle for upward mobility of talented and ambitious men, and that the system, quote, ensured that the most substantial and influential individuals in every locality would voluntarily submit themselves to lifelong indoctrination in a curriculum that was uniform and steeped into the values of personal morality and public service. While many families from smaller provinces cannot afford to support their children in their government career path and do not have relationships with officials to put their children into office, this traditional way of examination provides equal opportunities for everyone. Monique Nagel-Angermann, a historian focusing on ancient and imperial China, also stated in her research that, quote, for some it offered the possibility of taking a higher level exam, the passing of which would lead to even better opportunities. For others, it was the starting point of a career in the imperial bureaucracy. This system supports merit and ability over race and status. Ordinary citizens were learning literature connected to humanism, moral, and political theories. The full schedule helped them absorb way more knowledge, and the detailed testing process also helped the country search for ambitious men. The system spread education opportunities all over the country, significantly building a well-educated community. Now, the modern Gaokao system in China is quite similar in providing adequate, open opportunities for a bright future for all students. One famous example was Zhang, the principal of a free all-girls high school in the Southwest Mountains. She founded the school in 2008, intending to bring more girls out of the mountains and into the outer world. Back in the day, women and girls were seen as incapable of and should not be receiving education. In 2021, she and the school sent 150 female students to college. Since college admission offices only look at the students' Gaokao score, Zhang and those girls were able to change their lives significantly. Without any affiliations with gender, sex, family status, or fields of interest, colleges only select students based on their test scores. If Gaokao were not said so, many female students would likely have been deferred because of their gender. By entering good colleges with your Gaokao scores, students will be surrounded by so many positive resources and improve their skills. Gaokao opens a wide range of possibilities. A high score can lead to a high degree, which will expand opportunities when choosing a career. Gaokao could help people who came from lower status, bringing them to the same or even higher starting points than others. Gaokao ensures equality from all over the country since nothing else but the Gaokao score would be the admission factor for universities. However, smaller provinces might have insufficient teaching resources, which contributes to the difference in acquired knowledge between students coming from smaller or large places. Dr. Xu, a professional who studies education and also an online private lesson teacher that helps students with Gaokao, claimed in one of her online speeches that, quote, "From the college entrance exam, your active learning ability to analyze problems, the accumulation of knowledge and understanding, your ability to endure loneliness, resist temptation, deal with setbacks, and self-discipline ability would grow so much, way exceeding ordinary people." Gaokao sure provided students with positive future learning experiences and allowed equality by putting all students at the same starting point in college education, regardless of most of your external factors. But Gaokao and the Chinese education system do have their own downsides. A cross-sectional study conducted by Chinese college professors in the field of nursing shows that, quote, "The overall positive rate of mental health problems among the sample of Chinese high school students was 41.8%. More than half of the participants had symptoms of academic stress, emotional disturbance, obsessive-compulsive tendencies, and anxiety. More than 2/5 of participants reported maladaptation, interpersonal sensitivity, paranoid ideation, and depression. Furthermore, the study shows that, quote, "The positive rate of mental health problems in first-year high school students was significantly lower than students in the second and third years." The academic stress high school students experience in China is a significant contributor to the development of mental health problems. Second and third-year students, who are under much more pressure than first-year students because they are preparing for the Gaokao exam, reportedly have much higher positive rates of mental health problems. The major reason behind this phenomenon is the educational style in China. Since Gaokao covers such a broad range of subjects, China's current education system focuses on teaching students how to take the exam. Students are doing everything they can do to do well on this exam because it is the only way that they will get into college. They take thousands of practice tests and study for long hours, which puts stress on their physical and mental health. Larmer, a journalist in Shanghai, stated, quote, "Everything taught in 10th and 11th grades is focused on what the Gaokao tests: Chinese language, math, foreign language, and either social studies and literature or science. In 12th grade, students typically just memorize what they've already learned." The Chinese education system is centered around the Gaokao exam, and the teachers only teach students information that would help them on the exam. The common learning method was note-taking and memorization through repetition, which allowed fewer interactions between teachers and students. This system also relies more on the teacher's knowledge and how they can project that knowledge to the students and make sure they understand it. However, students in this education process develop a strong knowledge-based foundation, which contributes to the fact that when these students move to other countries, they are able to do well in daily classroom exams. The knowledge accumulation provided was able to build academic intelligence, more towards the definition of book smart, in a positive way. On the other hand, the American education system, although partially similar, focused on different aspects of teaching and learning. I am sure almost every student knows about the SAT and the ACT. Who does not enjoy studying them? Before the COVID-19 pandemic started, most colleges and universities required students to submit those test scores as a component of their college admission process. However, for about 2 to 3 years now, the SAT and ACT were no longer requirements and became optional for more than 80 four-year colleges. Many people then questioned these tests' relevance, claiming that since they are not required anymore, why should students still stress to get a good score? Similar to the Chinese Gaokao, the SAT, originally known as the Scholastic Aptitude Test, was created to standardize college admissions and increase access to education in the 20th century. Throughout the years, the GI Bill was passed to Congress, spiking the number of college enrollments, and as a result, the SAT quickly gained popularity. In its earlier versions, the SAT was also very similar to Gaokao in terms of subjects covered. The 1926 version contained 9 subtests, 7 with verbal content, including definitions, classification, artificial language, antonyms, analogies, logical inference, and paragraph reading, and 2 with mathematical content, such as number series and arithmetical problems. Today, the SAT focuses on reading, grammar, and math. The American college testing system, commonly known as the ACT, was designed around the same time as the SAT. It did, however, contain a science section, focusing on, quote, testing core analytical and problem-solving skills. Although the SAT and ACT could be a factor in college admissions, daily grades, extracurriculars, clubs, and sports are also areas that admission officers would usually look at. This then brings out the first difference between the American and Chinese education systems. As mentioned above, the Chinese education style only reviews students' Gaokao scores, as opposed to the American way, which examines students' other activities and their lives outside of school. Daily grades also matter in American education. The power school system is commonly used as a way to keep track of students' academic achievements. Since middle school, almost all tests and projects have been recorded in the student's power school account. The student's daily performance in school is also an important element that colleges review to see if the student will be a good fit for their school. In the Chinese system, elementary students take at least one test in each subject every week, while students at higher grade levels face even more than that. Although teachers still review those tests and give out grades, none of them are recorded in any systems for colleges to look at. High schools in China also have rankings based on a student's test scores on major exams. However, that number will also be hidden from other organizations. The A, B, C, D, or F were mainly for the students themselves and their parents to review, knowing where they stand and how much of an advantage they will have in the upcoming outcome. The student life in the two education systems was also structured differently. In a case study project directed by Harold Stevenson of the University of Michigan Center of Human Growth and Development, it was stated that, quote, in the United States, elementary students are typically in one classroom with the same teacher most of the day, perhaps seeing other teachers for special classes, such as art and music, while high school students move from class to class each period, with new teachers and a new mix of students in each class. This was the first difference that I noticed after I moved to North Carolina, United States, 5 years ago. Back in China, students would stay with the same classmates and in the same classroom the entire year, with teachers moving around from class to class. This is the classroom structure from elementary to high school. Students develop stronger and more personal ties with their classmates, and long-term friendships are easily formed everywhere. Here in the US, students do the majority of the moving, meeting different people and teachers every single period, semester, and year. This structure provides greater diversity in classrooms. Students were able to get to know more people, expand their friend groups, and develop a huge relationship network with their specific class. Personally, I surely enjoyed the closeness with my elementary friends. I knew several of their parents and was constantly staying overnight in their houses. After moving here, though, my friend group grew larger than ever before. The feeling of attending different classrooms and saying hi to a completely different group of people, however, was refreshing and delightful as well. You would know almost your entire grade level and possess a sense of belonging. In terms of college preparedness, the American education system does a rather great job. During the beginning of the Cold War, fearing that the American students will lag behind the Soviets and deciding to give American high schoolers a boost in their college studies, the US government and College Board agreed to create the advanced placement programs. In those AP classes, students can learn college-level materials as well as earn college credits ahead of time. Similarly, in middle schools, some classes also provide high school credits. This is vastly different from Chinese schools. There are no such things as AP classes, and students only focus on high school materials. Another difference that I found through my school sociology project survey was that American parents tend to communicate with their children's teacher more often than Asian parents do, whether regarding academics or other areas. From my survey, 20% of the parents agree that they have frequent communications with their teachers, and all of those 20% are American white parents. This finding brings out the core aspects of American education. In general, the system is more interactive and depends mutually on both teachers and students, sometimes even parents. It also focuses more on creativity and critical thinking instead of producing uniformly high grades. This style was strengthened even more by the fact that there is no required college entrance exams in the US. With this flexibility, the American education system has the freedom to help its students gain life knowledge and develop interest in various extracurriculars. Matthew Lynch, a writer and expert in the field of education reform and innovation, stated that, quote, American parents tend to view education and learning as just another part of their children's lives. A majority of American children play sports, learn an instrument, and socialize with friends from a young age. The American educational system is focused on any achievement, not just high grades. Lynch also described the American education system, similar to what was mentioned above, as a system that, quote, focuses more on creativity and how the student will use the knowledge in society. There are so many other notable differences, including student-led clubs, college major decisions, and sports teams. All in all, the American education system provides more freedom and allows the exploration of student interests than the Chinese system does. Although the Chinese and American education systems can be very different in that, quote, one offers the knowledge of accumulation, is strict, and is focused on building an educational foundation. The other encourages critical thinking, helps students develop skills for life, and focuses on cultivation of creativity. They do face some similar problems. In a data analysis study, it was shown that, quote, of high school students conducted 2 years after the onset of COVID-19 in the US, 47% of females and 21% of males reported moderate or severe anxiety symptoms. And as mentioned above, Chinese high schoolers also faced severe mental health problems as school went on. The two systems are both vulnerable to mass influences. There have been many cases in which wealthy celebrities have been buying their children into colleges, either by making up SAT or Gaokao scores, creating fake resumes, or even just donating money and buildings to colleges in exchange for enrollment. College entry fraud has become a great problem, severely harming other students' rights and equality in the system. Measures and renovations to secure the application process are much needed. Both systems also face criticism. While the Chinese system has been described as cruel, inhumane, strict, and detrimental to students' mental health, the more flexible American system has been labeled as having too much freedom and being only for low-income families. One parent whose children moved from China to the US suggested that, quote, everyone is very envious of the happy education in the United States. Children go to school at 8:30 in the morning, and school is finished at 2 in the afternoon, and there is no homework after school, which seems to be very relaxed. However, what people don't know is that the United States is divided into two models, elite education and happy education. Happy education is entirely exclusive to the poor, and it is also one of the means by which the elite prevents the poor from rising. Happy education advocates that parents do not urge their children to study, release their children's nature of playing, and their children will not go to college until become the bottom people who work and wash dishes after graduation. The elite class American society is completely different. Children are usually enrolled in the Ivy League universities with the help of their parents. However, that was very extreme and not entirely true. There are still countless examples of people who are different from that scenario above in getting into top colleges or succeeding in life in the American flexible education system, and I have personally witnessed many as well. Really, this podcast has been a discussion of either pushing students to achieve and learn more, or developing and exploring thoughts and ideas. And either can be greatly beneficial to many. Just as the Chinese saying goes, one man's meat can be another man's poison. There is no absolute winner here. No matter whether passive or active, building a knowledge foundation or igniting interest in critical thinking skills, the purpose of the education system is to, as its name implies, educate. As long as education was able to expose students to new things and help them achieve their dreams and earn a positive place in society, it had completed its goal. Although improvements might be necessary, it is pointless to say which education system is better. Looking at things from multiple perspectives and with an open mind, I guess, should be something that both American and Chinese and other countries' education systems include in their core curriculum. Thank you for listening and have a great rest of your day.